Oh, thank you, Ron. With financial markets bouncing in all sorts of directions in these unstable times, how do we invest wisely and with sustainability? Our financial expert, Amy Boucher, is here. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is an interesting topic because, man, I mean, even people who aren't really involved in the market are watching this sort of volatility.
Yes. Sustainability has been around a long time. Originally, it was called responsible investing or social investing, and it was really geared around excluding certain types of companies, traditionally excluding tobacco companies or alcohol companies or gun makers. But it's evolved into more of what we call sustainability and companies who are putting a focus on certain things.
For example, so you mentioned a few things that we had focused on before, but what are investors looking at now?
Well, sustainability is really geared around three things. It's environmental, social, and governance. And the acronym is ESG. And those things, something that would fall under environmental is, the carbon footprint a company puts out, or the focus that they have on recycling materials. And social is about the maybe the work environment for the employees or the regulations for those employees. And then in governments is about maybe the diversity of the board or how well they are educating their shareholders. Are they transparent with their shareholders? So all of those things help to make a company a better company for the environment, a better company for the employees, and if they're following certain guidelines, they're more profitable because they don't have as many fines to meet the regulations in their environment or in their industry.
That's so interesting because it's not about the product they make, it's about their way of doing business.
Correct. And if you're interested in investing in sustainability, you're really looking at non-financial issues before you look at the financial of the company.
And are you finding your clients are interested in that particular direction?
I think more and more people are focused on this. Things like, carbon footprint, climate issues are becoming more headlines. And so it's putting a focus on those issues that people are interested in. What is my impact in the environment? And a lot of people want to make an impact in their environment. What they don't realize is their investment portfolio has a much greater impact on their environment than actually things that we're doing individually.
Well, let's talk about what do you mean by that? Explain that a little bit further.
Well, if let's say as an individual, I'm cutting down on how much I'm driving, or I'm focused on my recycling, or I don't eat as much meat to make an impact in those areas, but I'm investing in companies who have a huge carbon footprint or who aren't taking care of their employees. Therefore, they have a greater impact on the society in that industry. So my investment dollars are supporting companies that I don't agree with.
Well, that means you not only do the investors have to have a lot of background knowledge, so do you.
Yes. So there are reports that are making it easier for financial advisors and individual investors to understand what the companies are reporting in these issues. There's Sustainalytics, there's sustainability governance, and these reports allow us to know not just the companies, but also the mutual funds. Mutual funds now have sustainability reports. So we can understand if our investment dollars are supporting our values.
Amy Boucher, you always shine a light. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Angie.
We'll be back with more Local Lifestyles right after this.